If you look at a picture of the galaxy, the thing that will strike you is how the best thing about it is planet Earth, because of its ability to support life. And if you look at Earth, what will strike you is that the best thing about it is us, the people. Then if you look more closely at the people, what you'll find is that every people has the right to survive, but that there is no group on Earth, with the possible exception of the Jewish people, that has the same strong duty to survive that we, the English, have. You don't have to like us to see that. I don't like every one of us, and I loathe the venomous English class system, but you have to value the triple example that we give to the world, and that is the example of freedom under law that is morally justified. Firstly, freedom. Everyone claims to love this idea of freedom. Everyone says they love freedom, but only the English-speaking world loves freedom even when it becomes ugly. The cry of freedom is not some fancy Latin phrase or some beautiful Hollywood movie. The cry of freedom is the Anglo-Saxon "fuck off," because it means just go away, get lost, and leave me to get on with my business. That's ugly, but it's free. The French call us les fuck-offs, and they think that's an insult. But time and again, we've seen European history being one long series of attempts to escape the ugly rigours of freedom. Hiding from economic reality behind one another's skirts within the EU is the latest example of that. And time and again, they have had to be pulled back from their dead-end social experiments by our more successful free example. And you can see that time and again it has been the English-speaking world that has stood up for this idea of freedom against the idea of state imposition. And this goes way back before the era of democracy, fighting against Philip II of Spain, fighting Napoleon, fighting the Kaiser, fighting Hitler, fighting the Soviet Union, and now fighting the last big, bad, nasty unfreedom, Islam. So that is the first thing, freedom. Secondly, we want that freedom to be protected, guarded by the law. We recognise that people do bad things. We don't go in for nice illusions about human nature. We see that the wolves need to be stopped from eating the sheep. The third thing is that we want that law to be practically, morally justified. That's why we like our spiky public debates in the papers, on the TV, in Parliament, in the open street. It's ugly, but we want to thrash it out because we want to get it right. And we don't want to parasitise off other people's backs. Now, only the English-speaking world has that attitude towards freedom. And like us or not, whether you like us or not, we, the English, we are the seed of the Anglosphere. Other English-speaking countries will probably leave the Anglosphere. Canada appears to have fallen headlong for that decision recently, and America in coming decades may well leave the Anglosphere. Now that might look like some happy hippie diversity dream, but it will end in unfreedom, because only the Anglosphere, the English-speaking world, loves freedom even when it's ugly. And if you leave the Anglosphere, you'll eventually fall for the temptations to avoid the ugly rigours of freedom. If the English go, if the English go, the English-speaking world will go. If the English-speaking world goes, then this idea of freedom under morally justified law will go, and then the world will go dark. Islam is just the latest example of the nasty threat, the nasty challenge to freedom, and it will probably fall to us, the English-speaking world, to show the rest of the world how to win against it. I do that by fighting against mosque construction, using the law to prevent them constructing their fortresses, and you should do the same. You will find that we're probably going to have to do this by ourselves, but we will end up doing it for the whole world.